Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video, I'm going to be giving you a route guide. So this route guide is basically going to cover pretty much my entire knowledge of some routes and how to make them and how to execute them and some of your best tools. First, we need to talk about the increments that you need, and basically what I mean by that is that first you need to know the tools that you have at your disposal basically. And if you want to know how to do that, make sure to check out my movement guide. It has everything you need on movement, from running and jumping to high vaulting and roll bouncing. Also, just to clarify, high vaulting and wall jumping are basically the same thing that I say in my movement guide. It's just been renamed, or people have been calling it high vaulting. I was not aware of that, but I am now, so from now on, obviously going to call it high vaulting. So speaking of high vaulting is literally your best tool. So in usefulness in a route, I would probably call this S tier, because this is the most versatile and unpredictable and probably the most useful mechanic in the game. Other than, you know, moving. You can do really cool stuff like this, and even getting up to the castle. This can be very versatile when it comes to routes, and that's probably the first thing you should look for in making a route. Next, I would probably mark roll bouncing. No surprises there. Roll bouncing is a very great tool against people who don't know what it is or don't know how to use it. It's also a great way to confuse pros. Although pros can predict this quite well, it is still a very useful thing that you can use to get people off you. One thing that can help a lot with roll bouncing is if you jump off to the side, they're obviously going to think that you're going to go over here, and maybe even roll bounce over here to another tree. But we can shift this roll bounce to move over here. So we can jump this way, roll, and then jump up to this tree instead. And the thing about that is they have to make an extra jump over here, from this tree to over here, and then you're gonna be a tree ahead and I'd already be at the trampoline. Or they could perform another roll bounce and you would still be around here and I'd be on the trampoline. So you're still getting massive amounts of distance no matter what happens. And even if they do follow you, you're not going to lose anything. In fact, you're going to gain speed, although your tagger is too if they continue to perform it behind you. So now that we have most of the mechanics out of the way, other than running, jumping, obviously the simple stuff, turnarounds. But the thing is, turnarounds, if I were to have to rank them, they would still be low. So one thing that I do want to say about turnarounds, so honestly, they suck. Okay, I'm gonna be completely honest. Those people that you see in games, if they do a bunch of turnarounds, and if you do turnarounds, this isn't targeting you or anything. I'm just saying that turnarounds are not good. Some of the best things that you can do in this game is straight up just walk straight. I'm not even kidding. Just walking straight with good movement, and you can get some great runs. And you can win a lot too. Like, one thing that I like to do a lot, and the only situations that you want to turn is places that they can't cut you off at. So like here, people cannot cut me off here. If I do this, they can't jump and get me because I'll be too high. So I can go this way. The only way if they're gonna stay on me is if they stay below, which is a bad idea, or if they chase me like this. Therefore, I can get the turn safely without getting cut off. That's a very important strategy when it comes to routes. And then, you know, I could walk straight again and then go up here. So, a big part of why I went over here is because, first of all, I want to go instantly toward here. That's a big thing. Because otherwise, if I turn it this way like this, they'll be able to run this way and then cut me off. So, if I were to keep running this way, they are going to be trailing beside me, like here. Therefore, they're going to be waiting for me to turn so I can get them. Otherwise, I don't really have much room to turn over here or go this way. So, a high jump is what I should do. I mean, I guess you could turn around, but like I said, those aren't very good. It puts me in a bad situation if your opponent has good reaction time. If I just turn around, they're honestly just going to stay beside me, and I'm going to have less room and situations to deal with them. I mean, I could go up the ladder, but they're just going to be still by me by the ladder. So if I truly want to get away and get some distance, I would want to go up here. And that would give them no choice but to take the ladder or go over here. So if they take the ladder, obviously roll bounce over here. If they go over here, drop down, and then take this roll bounce, which is real hard. So, now that you know the basic gist of how to think when you're making routes, let's talk about actually making some. Now let's talk about how we can use our high jumps in a route, or at least how to make one. The bare bones of how to make one is obviously high jumps, because they're our best tool, right? So they're our best and most versatile tool. So I made this route. It starts with a high jump, and it starts with a pretty difficult one, to be honest, because it's very easy to mess up because of this overlap here. Since these are two different things, these two structures, it's very easy to vault below it and hit the top, especially if you're trying to go for a high vault. I'm most of the time probably gonna miss or hit the top. I don't know why it's not doing it now, but it was. Yeah, there we go. So you can rather get that vault off of this, or you could get a high vault off of that. So that's basically the difference there. See, now I'm messing up. There we go. So I can go to here and then go up here. Great route. Although it does corner you, you have plenty of places to go. Absolute plenty. You can even go over here and sit here for a bit. And you can even go back. And you can maybe play with them here to survive the round out or go this way. It's also good to have cues for high jumps. High jumps are hard, especially some of the hardest jumps in the game. It's honestly, high jumps are really hard to just take blindly. It's good to have cues, like my cue for this one. That works pretty much 100% of the time. Is that if I run, I go on the second stud up and around the middle of here. I jump, it gets me perfectly on there, and then just make sure I flick away so I can avoid the stud head hitter up there. And then I can turn around and get up. And the good part about this cue is it works for both sides. Like that. And some cues can honestly be really hard to find. So make sure you find one that works for you. For me, I want to make sure I want to stay away from this, because otherwise we do something called a double jump. Like, see how I jump twice there? And that's going to make me go above it, and it's going to make me do a low vault. Yeah, so I just wait till I get close to here, and then a max jump automatically makes it. Reach the peak of my jump, get up here. I can make the jump over here. For this one, I want to make sure I'm on the second stud here. Walk past till I pass this. Works like a charm. Also, a good thing that you want to take notes on routes. When you get better at the game, make hard routes. And I'm not just talking about make more complex routes. I'm talking about make the jumps harder. Like, the hardest route in the world currently is insane. It's on Glass House. I can briefly show you real quick. Alright, so it's in good old Glass House. So, I was talking with, my friend the other day, right? And he was talking about this new route that he made that basically broke the game. So, he was the first to ever do it, as he posted, something in the Discord about it. I was the second to do it. We were in a thing with a bunch of pros, or a server with a bunch of pros. We were testing out the route. I was second to do it, ever. And V, which was my friend, did it the second try. Did it first. So, the route goes a little bit something like this. So, the first high jump is very difficult, as the wall is invisible. So, you want to try to get up here as the first one. Then the second one is the route killer. The absolute impossibility of the route. It relies on this one high jump, or high vault, sorry. So, I've done it a couple of times, but it took me 3 hours, so I'm not gonna do it. You vault from here off of this. If you do it here, otherwise it won't work. If you do it on here, you can get up there. You high vault off this, and then you get up there. It is possible. Not on top of it, just like where the arch is here, you go there. And it's the hardest route ever. It's crazy. Another good example is this high vault. Oh. That high vault. That high vault is really hard. And a normal high vault would look something like this. Oh. It would probably get you to the third one here. Yeah, but this one, the one that I showed you there is real hard. Another route here, one of the hardest roll jumps in the game. Just make sure when you get better, don't increase the complexity of your routes. Increase the difficulty of your jumps. It's gonna help out a lot, trust me. Alright, lastly, roll bounces. Like, that one works. That one's pretty hard. And honestly, like, just kind of find a hard jump, and then base some jumps and some complex tech around it. Like, I don't know. I can make a brief one here real quick for you. Yeah, I'll do that. That should work. So as you can see, I did a high jump and roll bounces in there. And although they aren't that difficult, they still are gonna get the job done. It's hard to follow, which is good. That's mainly what you want in a route. That's why high jumps are so good, because they're hard to follow. Like that's hard to follow. So if you are going to include basic movement, make it hard to follow. So like, if you want to connect a high jump and a roll jump, but they're not right next to each other, so you can't just high jump into a roll jump, you're gonna have to add some tech into it. Like, add some hard to follow movement in it. Like, a good example, let's say I were to do a roll bounce from here to here. That's a roll bounce, right? But the high jump that I want to include is over here to up here. So we want to add unpredictable and complex movement in between. So how do we do that? By doing this. We can go up here, and we can basically go here, jump, go up here, turn this way, and I messed it up. We want to make our high jump here. We want to make our high jump here. Have complex movement, have a nice turn there, make it more unpredictable. And now that I've connected everything, I can just make the roll jump, and I've connected the two. And that is basically the main thing that you want to do when making routes. Most of the time, it's high jump. It's high jumps instead of roll jumps. But roll jumps are not bad. You can make roll jump routes and high jump routes. High jump routes are normally better because they're like versatile, but it still doesn't mean having a roll bounce route is bad. And just to clarify what a high vault route and roll bounce route is, a roll bounce route is basically a route based around a singular roll bounce, and same with high jumps or high vaults, like the route that I showed you over here. High vault route, the one that I showed you over here, obviously because it's made up of high vaults, made up of roll vaults. So you mainly want to make your routes about that, based off of high vaults and roll vaults, because that's what's going to get you the best results. And usually a lot of roll bounces are made for lots of distance, so if you need like huge gap jumps, usually that's the way to go. A really complex, or I'd say harder to follow way, it's to jump from a really high place, roll bounce onto another really high place. So the one that I showed you from this glass house to that tree, that's one of the hardest in the game. It's pretty hard roll bounce, but with some practice you can get it. Practicing your routes is huge in this game. Basically determines how good of a player are you, but yeah. Yeah, but it's good to have routes based upon that. Like, I could make a route here. I could high vault here, high vault here. And then, I don't know, maybe roll bounce down here. I didn't roll bounce, that was a roll. I could have, like, roll bounced to, like, I don't know, on top of here or something. Yeah, you can get really creative with it, just with these two techniques. And, it's really useful to utilize those two things, and it can make routes really hard and difficult to follow. Just be wary what makes a good roll bounce and a high jump. This is very important for routes, and really just mastering those two mechanics is, if you want a further or higher roll bounce, there's a very specific timing to it. It's like 0.05 seconds after you do it, or after you do the roll. I mean, if you want more distance, then I'd press it later, like there-ish. But if you want it earlier, just higher, if you want a higher one, you just gotta press it at the right time. But I will say that it is very precise. But that does determine a lot of it. And for high vaults, the lower you are and you can still vault, the better and the more difficult and higher that you're gonna go with your high vault. So that's why in a lot of the times you'll see me jump and then just fall, because I'm trying to hit it as late as possible, like that. But there we go. Whatever. Yeah, so I mean, it is better to hit it than not, but if you practice it like that, you're obviously gonna get better results because you're practicing the harder version. So yeah. Well, that's mainly it on routes. Here's a quick summary of everything. Is to use base your routes and find high jumps and roll jumps around the map, and based routes off of them. you can make roll bounce routes or high bounce routes. But if those, if a high bounce V or roll bounce are a set distance from each other, that's far away to the point where you can't do them pretty consistently, like right next to each other, it's probably good to add in some unpredictable movement in there, just to make sure that you're able to get them off you. Because if you just run over there normally, it's obviously going to make it a lot harder to do, or a lot harder to get away from them. So if you're going to move normally, at least make it unpredictable. Or unpredictable. Stupid. And that's about it on routes. Thank you for watching this tutorial, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys. Also, a quick note, I've been talking to a lot of people in the community about this new tech that someone found, that they have named Veloc vaulting. I think that's how you pronounce it. Me and Nerd have been basically testing it a lot. We're trying to do some information to make it more consistent, but if we do get it more consistent and we do figure out how it works, I will make a video on it just to clarify. Yeah, I'm really excited for this new tech to come out. It's insane.